Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to another video. This is the third part of the video series. If you haven't watched the first and second part of the video series, it's filled with a lot of value. And if you already watched and commented, thank you so much. Please share, like, subscribe if you haven't already. In this video, we're going to talk about the jobs, internship, career fair, and how Vinay got the internship through Michigan Tech University and career fair and in autonomous system. What was his interview like and all of the whole process. Vinay, thank you so much for doing this. It was awesome series. Let me know in the comment section what did you think about this series. If you would like to talk, like me to talk about different industries and careers, and also bring different people on this channel. And now I'll let you enjoy the video. So, how did you start your internship? How's the internship like? Is there a job market in that in your city itself?
I wouldn't say it's in like there are a whole lot of opportunities, like technical opportunities in the city that I live in, because it's more or less like a small town. And most of the people that live here are the students who attend either of the two colleges, Michigan Tech, or there's another university here. So there aren't a lot of opportunities right in this town, but there are a lot of opportunities in Detroit area. So you have Auburn Hills, you have Detroit, you have Pontiac. So all the companies are centered around those areas. And when the career fair arrives, you have a lot of companies who even travel like all the way across countries, because we have alumni from our university working in different companies. So they love to come back, they love to hire people. And it's not just for the automotive domain, it's for computer science as well. So I know we have a data science program in our university as well. People get hired for computer science and computer software engineering positions as well. So it's like for me it was the Detroit area. I knew that if any opportunities I would find that would lead me to like full-time positions later on, or maybe co-ops, it would either be in Detroit or in the Bay Area, given the fact that I'm trying to work with autonomous systems, and a lot of those startups and companies who focus on autonomous driving are either based in Arizona or in the Bay Area. So what I did was I started looking for internship positions right after the sometime around the fall, when the fall semester ended, and that was in I think towards the end of November. Before that, since it was the first semester, I was working 20 hours a day, 20 hours a week, so it was kind of difficult for me to manage, and I put it off because the semester was proving pretty tough for me as well. So I said, okay, we'll make a plan, we'll stick to it, and we'll see how it goes. So after the end of the fall semester, I started looking at positions, and we had a career fair coming up for the spring semester in February. So I thought, okay, let me just make a short list of all the companies based on my department and the kind of job positions that they might have. So I have some experience in how to look for positions and what keywords to look for when searching for jobs. So what I did was I used whatever I knew to find a short list of companies. So I remember I shortlisted like 15 companies that were I think somewhere around out of 250 or 260 companies that were coming on campus for the spring semester. So I made a list of, yeah.
So happy. I'm smiling because I don't know if you have watched my career fair video. I've said the exact same thing, that do this because there's going to be 300 companies and you're not going to have chance to meet everybody. Focus on the prime companies which you definitely want to be in. Make those lists, research on them, and then hit hard on them. So yeah, go continue.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of this comes because I've watched your videos, and like I know them subconsciously at this point now, because I've rewatched the video so many times. So it just comes to me naturally again that this is how I'm going to execute this.
Yeah.
So I made a list of those companies, and what I did was then next I went on to their careers page one by one. So I went on to their careers page. I looked up the job positions. I made note of the job codes that I wanted to apply to, and I made sure that I read any contingent like conditions where like they were only looking for US citizens or not. So I instantly dropped those positions from my list. But then I came up with a list of 4 or 5 companies that would sponsor candidates, and I thought that these positions would be relevant to my field as well, so that later when I'm transitioning from CPT to OPT after graduating, when you get those RFEs, so you have to justify, right? So I thought that, okay, let me play the long game here. Let me just take all of those things into account as well. So I made a list of 5 companies, and I looked up multiple, like 2 or 3 job positions. Luckily, I found those kind of positions in their careers page. I made sure that I noted the job code as well, and I customized. So what I did then was I moved on to customizing my resume for when they arrived in the career fair. Okay, and I knew, since I had attended the fall career fair as well, and I had absolutely no idea. I was lost in that career fair because I had just landed there, and it had just been a couple of weeks since classes had started, so I had no idea how to interact. So what I would end up doing in the fall career fair was the fact that I would go up to company reps and ask them if they had any positions for me, right? Which was a bad move.
Yeah.
Was an absolutely bad move, and it was nightmare because I did not get any calls, and I kind of knew that this was my mistake, right? And so I rectified that in this spring career fair. So what I did was I made a general 1.5 page resume, and then suit like looking at the position and the job title and whatever they had mentioned in the job description, I added keywords onto my resume from their job description. I know you've talked about this a lot as well. So I did exactly that. I included all that information. I made sure that I listed all the skills that they wanted. I made sure that they were towards the top, so that when they scan it, like within a couple of like starting few seconds, they see those skills listed up there. So I ended up having like 5 to 6 different types of resumes for specific for the job position, and I made sure that I specifically entered the name of. I did not put a generic objective. I put in the name of the company, the exact name of the job position that I was applying to, and I included the job code if there was a job code as well. So that way, I had something to talk about when they, when I reached to them, and when I reached up to them, I had the job code, and I could tell them that, okay, this is a position that I've looked up for. I'm really interested in this, and I would love to talk to you about this. And that worked out well in my favor. So one of the companies, they had recently started this policy that they wouldn't like sponsor international students, so that went bust, and another company did not show up. But then the 3 companies that were left, I approached them. I talked to the representatives that the initial person, like the first person who does the screening between people who are standing in the queue, they all sent me ahead to talk to the department heads that were present there. I talked to them. They loved my resume. I got calls from like all the 3 companies that I had applied to. But due to this lockdown situation, I did not really hear back from the other 2 companies after the whole coronavirus lockdown thing. But the one company that instantly had offered me the offer, Exalt Energy, where I'm going to be working at, they reached out to me about it in the evening after the career fair, and it was finalized after that.
So now let's get back to the career fair. Like, how was your conversation? What
Yeah.
did you say?
So I'll focus on that now. So what happened was I reached there. There were already a lot of people in the queue, so I joined the queue. I waited for my turn, and there was an intern who was screening out people's resumes. So he was just passing on the resumes that he thought were of relevance, to the positions that they had. So I talked to the intern, and I mentioned to him the fact that I had gone on to the careers page, I had looked up the positions, and that this was the job code that I wanted to apply to. And he was really happy to talk to me about it. And the fun thing was, he was from my university. So he really wanted to, like help out students there. So he took a look at my resume, and he found that it was really interesting, probably. So what they do is they tend to make certain notes on your resumes, and I saw him putting a couple of stars on my resume, so that I knew that, okay, I'm probably might have a shot talking to their department head, who might be there. And he told me to wait a couple of minutes, and he told me that he would tell me when I was to meet the electrical engineering department head. So after a couple of minutes, he told me that, okay, he's ready to meet you now. I went up to the person. Like exchange a few pleasantries. I asked him how he was doing, and so that made a small conversation about the weather, because I knew he was from Michigan. So I'd actually come across his profile on the careers page as well. So like I knew that he was from Michigan. So he told me, like, it started really smoothly from there. And then he asked me that, hey, I saw, a couple of interesting things on your resume. I'd like to talk to you about them. I was like, yeah, that sounds great. He asked me like the kind of work that I had done. So again, I'll get in a little bit into the jargon. So one of the things that I worked with is vehicular communication. What it does is uh, so within your vehicle there are a lot of sensors, and they communicate with each other using a specific protocol. Like we have for routing on the internet, right? We have the IP. So we have like certain vehicular communication protocols and stuff like that, and he wanted to discuss that. And I had taken courses that specifically dealt with hands-on experience. So what I do is I make sure that I have at least one subject each semester that has a hands-on lab working with hardware, right? Because I know that's really valuable. Here in the US, they value people who have worked hands-on on the hardware. So I talked a bit about my lab experience with him, and he told me, okay, hey, I have this project coming up in summer, and I would really, I'm really looking forward to working with someone who has some experience working on this hardware. I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm really, I would really be glad to work on it. If you want, if you could share a few details with me, I'd probably, be able to suggest, make a few good suggestions. And then he actually went on to talk about the project a little, and that is where I had my opportunity. I knew that this was a moment where I could pitch in with my ideas. Yeah, so I gave him a bunch of my ideas that I could like think of at the spot, but that was enough. Like he knew that okay, he could look into my profile and he could maybe shortlist me for an interview. So that conversation went really well. He told me that I'll be looking forward to interacting with you, and we'll reach out to you by evening about any interviews that we schedule. So I was really hopeful about getting an interview call. So I came back from the career fair and I got calls for some other companies as well. But I was really waiting for this call because it was like one of the positions that I really wanted to work in because it would give me valuable hands on experience. So thankfully, I got the call. I got the call a bit later than my friend. So I was a little on the edge of whether I was, gonna get the call or not. But then I got it. I scheduled an interview the next morning, very next morning with them. The interview was scheduled around somewhere, I think around 10 a.m. in the morning. I went there. So they had their entire team of people who were going to be working on the project with them, like the main people who are going to be heading those teams. So there was one person from the software development team. There was one person from the electrical engineering team that I had already interacted with previously. And then I came to know that the intern that I had talked to, he was actually just an intern in terms of the name of the position, right? But he had been working there, interning there for over 2 years there. So he was a pretty senior guy there as well. And I had like interacted with him as well pretty well, so he knew me as well. So moving on, they went into a lot more details about what I had done during the semester. So they asked me what kind of projects I had worked on in the lab, and they asked me a few questions about the lab work that I had done, specifically whatever I mentioned. No, this was face to face interview. Yeah. So it happened on my campus only. So usually what happens is, yeah. So usually what happens is the day we have the career fair, companies shortlist whatever candidates they want to interview, and we have certain like areas in our campus where there's entire lobbies where you can comfortably seat people, and they take the companies, they interview people there then and there the very next day, and then the offers are handed out. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that happened, and we got into details about the work that I had done, my previous work experience of working with electric vehicles as well. So they kind of talked like specific details about how the project was, how they wanted it executed, what kind of data they were expecting, and how they wanted it to be processed. So basically, they got about into the details of the project, and that is where I supplied an idea here, an idea there, and how I would maybe facilitate the project with my own skills, like how I would add value to their team. And that is when I had a little idea. Like I was not trying to be over hopeful about this, but I had a slight glimmer of hope that if they're going into this much details, they probably might hire me if I play this right. So I tried to add as many ideas as I could pitch to them, and it must have made sense to them, because they were like, so what happened was when they said that okay, we are going to reach out to you later this evening to confirm the offer, there was a moment when he did not say anything else in terms of whether or not he was considering, right? He just straight up said that we are going to be contacting you in the evening or not. And that was when I was like, okay, sure. That sounds like that sounds good. And yeah, I came back after the interview, and I think it was only an hour or so after I got back to my apartment that I received the call saying, they asked me whether or not I would like to join the company. I confirmed instantly that yeah, I would absolutely love to work there.
Awesome. That is such a great testimony. There is so much to learn from your experience. If I have to summarize, and you can summarize your tips too, but I have to summarize, you did very good research on the companies you want to go. That trick of, going to the positions they have open, that kind of worked out in your favor because you already knew what they're looking for. So you did your research on that. Your small talk and talking to the intern worked really out. That worked out. So that's the personal relationship you worked on. And you did not believe on people who say that career fair doesn't work, because it did work in your favor. And I 100% agree that I got my current job through career fair, so this is another example. And then, of course, you are expert in your field and your knowledge. You were able to kind of give them the idea that when they talk about their project, how your expertise is going to be useful for them, which is what I feel they looked into you. They are like, okay, this is our guy. So what if you had to summarize like some form of tips for students who are right now either planning to come or looking for internships, what would you give them?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say uh, online applications might seem simple, but don't rely too much on them, because there's a factor missing there, right? That personal interaction that you have with people who are recruiting, that is missing. You're only reaching out to them on through an online, a software, right? And that touch is missing. So if you have like if I had to tell people who are coming in, please focus on your career fairs. There are a lot of companies coming there, and if you research the positions, if you customize your resumes, if you try and fit into the culture of making a small conversation here, don't just try and pitch yourself as a candidate. Try talking to them openly and keep your mind open about what they talk. They might not start talking about the projects that they have or the positions they have right away. They might ease into it over a conversation. So try and make it as if you're genuinely interested in that conversation. Don't just harp about the fact that you're going to be the perfect candidate for them just because you feel so, right? It's all about that natural conversation, that organic conversation that you have with the recruiter. And one of the things that I feel a lot of people miss out on is the fact that company culture is a big thing in US, right? People look for people who are going to be a great fit for their team.
Yeah.
They don't just look for the right guy, because there are five right guys for them, 10 right guys for them, but they're not going to pick all of them. They're going to pick the guy who's going to fit perfectly with their team, right?
I
So,
cannot agree more on this because I'm a team manager for my team. And we have like we when we look for candidates, we have candidates who are like excellent developers, but they seek this they lack in soft skills, and they're like either not so interested in the company. They're so self focused. So we reject them because yes, you have the thing, but you won't fit in the team, and we don't want someone to come in and disrupt the entire team. And we would
absolutely.
rather have someone who's like happy, high energy, who's gonna fit our energy and team, and he's gonna help team empower it. So yes, cannot agree more with you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, those are some awesome tips. I really hope these people, take this. I've said this many times, and you now validated a lot of my things. I think you've said so many things which I, cannot wait for people to start implementing, and I hope they also get jobs and internships. I know it's a rough time right now,
Yeah.
but I think this is your opportunity again, for a full-time job is to I know you will do it because you've done it with me. You've built this relationship with me. I can call you and text you, and you'll respond to me, and you can do the same. So this is what the relationship building is. Like you said, be genuinely interested in making that conversation. Don't be fake. Don't sell out yourself like the first conversation. You don't go in a when you're meeting a girl, you don't go and say like I want to marry you. You try to
Absolutely.
kind of, it's just exactly like that. You try to build a friendship and then slowly move on to marriage. But yeah, same thing with employers. They are people. They want to have that human relationship. So I feel you will do absolutely fine. When you start your internship, you're gonna make great friends at work, and hopefully those people will take you to full-time job.
Yeah, thank you so much. I sure hope to meet a lot of new people, make some great connections over the summer.
Yeah, I do have a. I know we are at 51 minutes. That's crazy that we talk so much.
Yeah.
People are not going to like this, but I don't care. This is a great conversation. Um, I do want to ask you, like, what's a typical day look like in your life as a student in Michigan Tech?
So a typical day would usually entail going to classes in the morning. So usually like when before this.
Give us a timestamps.
Okay, sure. So actually, in the fall semester, I had most of my classes which happened during the afternoon. So somewhere like 12 to 1 and then 1 to 2. So we have like 55 or sorry, 50-minute classes. So we have classes beginning in at, for example, 12:05 to 12:55, so that you have that 5-minute leeway to be able to, because we commute by a shuttle as well. Even though our campus is really small, but we live on like on campus housing, and we have like a separate area where there's places called like lower Daniel Height, upper Daniel Height, and these are all like rows of apartments, right? So we have a shuttle that goes from here to the campus where classes take place, like our department buildings. So you have that kind of fixed schedule for the shuttle, and that runs in sync with the classes. So typically we have like 50-minute classes or 1 hour 20-minute classes. It varies for each course. It's at the discretion of the professors. So for example, like the courses I took during fall, they were all mostly during the afternoon period. So I had classes from like 12 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and so on. uh, I have mostly had my lab sessions. I have been towards mid afternoon towards evening, like maybe let's say 4 to 7 and 6 to 9, like towards the evening mostly. Yeah. And other classes, like this spring semester, I've had classes as early as 8 in the morning, which is like a real pain to wake up to. Because it's really tough getting up at 8, because we are usually working on assignments till well late into the night, like 3 4 a.m. at sometimes. So yeah, but like usually what the day would look like is attending classes during the day, being done with classes and labs by the evening, and then probably like if we have on campus jobs, then probably heading off to work. So that would be a couple of hours. So I know most people here do like 3 or 4 hours every day, so that they don't get overwhelmed over the weekend. I like doing like jobs over the weekend, so that way I have the entire week for my assignments and my quizzes. So usually, yeah, I work on assignments that it goes pretty late into the night. Sometimes three is like the usual thing. That's why it's a tough to wake
I
up early
wake
in
up
the
at
morning.
that time, bro.
Yeah, I know, absolutely. That's why every time I used to wake up in the morning, I like when I used to commute to this class at 8 a.m. I would always watch your stories, and it would, I think it's there's like a 3 hour difference, right?
Yeah.
So you'd probably be just waking, like when I used to wake up at around 7 here, it would be like 5 or 4 there, right? And you would just be putting stories about how you're going to the gym and then how you're heading off to the office. I would be like, how does he do that? I mean, how?
Well, I mean you're up till 3, so that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
You utilizing the time, that's more important. So that's fine. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Thank you for sharing this entire thing. I still want to ask you one more thing. I think it
Yep.
will be interesting to see your answer on that one. What was your biggest culture shock slash struggle when you came to United States?
Okay, I think I know just the one. So, like, I don't really consider myself as not being fluent in English. Like, I've always been able to talk to people, like, have conversations in English back in India. So, I never really thought that it was going to be a problem talking to people here. But when I came here, so one of the things I know, like, people told in the webinar also, right? Chai and coaching webinar. So, was to come here early. I did not know about that idea, but I thought it would be a good idea to come almost a month early, right? So I came here a month early, and uh, like the initial few days were tough for me because I'm an introvert. I don't usually gel with people instantly. It takes me some time to open up to people and get that conversation flowing. So I was really surprised at the fact that people have like small conversation, small talk here really easily. Like you could walk up to anybody and just start talking to them, right? and like if you obviously if you follow like certain etiquettes. But it just amazed me like how easily people are able to talk to each other and then come up with things that they have in common, and they're able to build a connection with them, right? It doesn't have to go deep rooted, it doesn't really have to evolve into something like super deep, like friendships that we have. But again, it's not something that does not add value to your life, right? And I found that ease to be very like it made me really uncomfortable, and I would like really start fumbling at times. But that
Yeah.
was like the initial week or two, right?
Yeah.
After that I eased into it, and then I talked to a lot of my classmates. So I had a bunch of classmates who were from different countries and not just like US and India. So that helped me a lot as well. I interacted with a lot of different people. I went and met my advisor a lot of times, my academic advisor, and he was super
Ooh,
helpful.
I love it. I love
Yeah,
it.
I went to him. I spoke to a lot of my professors. So some of my professors are from different countries as well. So one of them is from Brazil. So and a few of them are like I met a few professors who are like visiting professors. So they're from other countries as well. So I try to talk to people of different nationalities, and then that kind of gave me a sense of comfort that okay, there are other international students here as well, and if they can fit into this, I can as well. It's not that difficult. It's just that I have to push myself a little more, that's all.
Yeah, this is so you made my day. It's a Saturday morning. You made my day. I love it. I love how many things which I've said it. You validated a lot of them. Relationship building, getting out of your comfort zone. Don't stay in your Indian community. I mean, of course, it's good to have that community, but you're spending so much money. You're here to get this different experience. So go and explore and that's exactly what you do. Putting out when you put out yourself in this uncomfortable zone, you just grow. You just grow, and it's okay to fumble a couple times, maybe 1 month, but after that you will get the hang of it, and you will flourish. So happy that we did this. I cannot thank you enough. I know it's like an almost an hour of talking,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I don't. We'll split the video into three parts because people don't like to watch my long videos. You tell them that they should watch my videos.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll tell you right now, the video you had with a friend who had Canada Plan as backup, right? I watched that entire, like, I don't know if you split it or not, but I remember watching the entire thing in one go because I wanted to absorb all that information. I did not care about the fact that, whether it was 15 minutes long, because I knew that was going to add value, and that's what you've got to do, right?
Yeah.
I'll take your just a few more minutes, but I wanted to add something in real quick, about this fact. So one of the very interesting things that I observed over here while working on assignments was the fact that I could either get done with an assignment quickly and score average marks, or I could put in that extra effort and I could score in my like there has been a subject where I've scored hundreds on the assignments consecutively for like a lot of the assignments, and that has the only difference being is the fact that I added a certain value to the report that my professor really appreciated. She was like, okay, this is different from what the rest of the class has done, and this adds value to my course. Because what she does is she gives us these reading assignments where we have to read research papers and add material to our report, and she includes those materials, like the ones that she finds really good. She includes those references and materials in her course and upgrades that course for the next year, right? So I added that value and she returned it in favor with marks, right? So that's the way it goes anywhere, right? You
Right.
have to add value to a certain thing to be like you need to be able to extract value or add value given whatever situation is, and you have to be ready for that. You just can't expect everything to go your way. It's
Yeah.
either the easy and the average way, or it's the maybe a little tougher but the valuable way.
Yeah. Yeah. No, 100%. So yeah. So that basically he was trying to say you should watch my videos so that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
No, again, thank you, man. What's the one tip would you give to anybody?
The one tip: don't be lazy, please. When you come here, don't be complacent, push yourself hard, and you'll do just fine. Don't worry about it. Take one day at a time, live one day at a time, enjoy it.
Nice, nice. I love it. I love it. All right, you know how we end the videos, right?
Yep.
All right. Okay. Let's do it until our next one.
Keep smiling and keep hustling.
Nice. Gotta hustle every single day.
Yep.